See, here's what happens in negotiating. When the person who's pushing back, if you try to hold them to it or convince them, you're forcing them to defend their position. And every time that they defend their position, they're actually getting more committed to their position. Whenever you try to convince somebody to go against what they're communicating to you, they feel like you're maybe making them wrong, and they're being forced to justify their position to be right, because human beings like to be right and never like to be made wrong. So what you have to do is come from a place of, I don't care what you do, because this is not about me. Let me give you one example. This is a true story. There was a homeowner. I'm trying to remember because it goes back a long time ago. There was a homeowner that I had once where they were selling their house and moving to Florida to retire from Long Island. And the reason why they were moving to Florida, because, well, number one, all New Yorkers, that's where they retire. But number two is their grandkids were down there as well. And there was this typical thing where the refrigerator wasn't staying, and they thought, the buyers thought it was staying, and So everybody was fighting about a refrigerator, where the deal, they were going to cancel the deal because there was some validity because it wasn't represented in the listing agreement and So everybody had an opportunity to get out and not have any recourse financially, right? So this is what I said to the homeowner. I said, listen, here, I'm going to give you advice. And before I do, I'm going to tell you, I'm fine with whatever you decide. I have no ulterior motive here. Okay. This is not about me. This is about you. So I started off with that. And then I said, listen, my job as your agent, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is to get you what you tell me you're committed to. That's my job. You tell me what you're committed to, and that's what I'm committed to. Now, if you tell me you're more committed to the refrigerator than moving to Florida and retiring and being close to your grandkids, then that's what I want, and I will tell the buyers to go take a walk. So tell me now, what are you committed to, the grandchildren or the refrigerator, and I will make it happen for you. That's how I handled that deal. Guess what happened? They let it go. So our job is to coach people based on their commitment. If you've got a radon situation, there's a concern about, okay, so well, what are you committed to? Are you committed to owning this house or not owning this house? There is a situation. The situation is radon. Okay, how do we deal with that? We either deal with it, work through it, or we say, forget it. I'm not that committed to the house. There's too much stress. I'm fine with whatever you decide. You know, listen, usually people, they get twisted about something during the contract. And your job is to have people either live from their commitments or their emotions and their feelings. And when they go to contract, but now watch this. This is a very powerful distinction. Stick with me on this. So my son, this is true. Forget about my son. This is true about any buyer, especially they're buying their first home or the second or third. It's a bigger number, right? They're probably worried. They're concerned. Can we afford this? Is this the right thing? We like to be comfortable as human beings. This is a big change. So there's that emotion. Now, they go to contract, they take their checkbook, and they put down thousands of dollars. At that moment, who were they being? Their thoughts and feelings, or were they being their commitment to home ownership? They were being their commitment to home ownership, and they still had the fears and the worries, but the fears and worries didn't have them. Now, when you're in contract and then all of a sudden radon shows up, it's the same thing. All of a sudden, they got emotions, they got concerns, but then there's that commitment. And what happens usually during the contract time is it's easier to forget the commitment and be more about the emotion. Your job is to bring them back to their commitment. Why is this their home? Why is this important? Are you going to let your fears and worries about this, which is easily mitigated, to have it cost you and rip you off. When you signed this contract, you were committed to this was your home. Be that. Let's not have this stop us. Let's figure this out.